Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so we have a continued series in the Western Conference Finals. Score was 119-109. The Dallas Mavericks got the victory at home and extend this series. It is now a 3-1 lead for the Golden State Warriors. Once again, they have a closeout game on the road where they have a 25 or more point deficit and lose the game. They are not closing teams out when they have an opportunity to. They're playing extra basketball, and it's something that they've gotten away with thus far. But I just don't think playing extra basketball for an older team is wise. I really don't, and I think that they could have controlled that to a degree by not getting away from what, excuse me, was working. Now I have to preface that by saying they the Dallas Mavericks did a fantastic job shooting the three ball. And what that did was make it so that Kevon Looney wasn't someone that Steve Kerr wanted to play on the floor because, you got to guard those perimeter, guard the perimeter. And, it's a little tough for guys like him to get out there to those 3-point shooters. So once those 3-point shooters are hitting those 3-point shots, it can remove a player like him from the game. And that's what happened. So what that does is change the rebounding dynamic because now you don't have him down there pulling down boards. You don't have him down there defending Luka. You don't have him down there getting easy buckets. I felt like the Golden State Warriors should have just played him anyway, because what you have to understand is that 3-point shooting they were shooting like crazy, but it wasn't like it was sustainable. They weren't going to shoot 100% from behind the arc all game long. Now, granted, they did hit 20 threes, which was fantastic. Shooting over 50% from the tray. So on the night, you just understand that nobody was beating Dallas. They were going to beat anybody pretty much tonight. But when you look at the score, you realize that Golden State had an opportunity to win this game. They closed it. They put in their second unit, or their third unit rather, and you just saw guys play well. Jonathan Kuminga started scoring the basketball. Moses Moody had a good game tonight for his standards. Playing the minutes that he got, he was good. And I really like from what I saw from Bjelica, man. Bjelica had a very short time on the floor, but he was making plays. He was getting the ball to places that people could score from, and putting the ball in the hoop himself. So to me, he was kind of like the spark plug when he was doing what it was that he was doing. It was like, okay, we're getting these guys back in the game. Jordan Poole started doing the same. He was getting involved with the playmaking and also scoring the basketball. Some of the moves he was having down the stretch in that fourth quarter. He had a drive that was so cold, man. His ability to get to the basketball, get to the rim with the basketball is some special stuff. And as he continues to grow, you're going to see that penetrating ability continue to be on display. And what we saw down there is something very, very unique and very special on the play that comes to mind. But all in all, I just felt like the shot selection as a whole for the Golden State Warriors wasn't great. Once again, they allowed Klay Thompson to kind of get it going slowly but surely. He had a better second half than he did the first half, of course, even though his minutes were limited by the score being so out of hand. I thought Steve Kerr rested his starters a little more than necessary. I thought he should have put Kuminga back in the game down the stretch. Not Kuminga, excuse me, Looney. Gosh, these two names. He should have put Kevon Looney, the big guy, back in the game down the stretch when the score was close, so he could have those easy buckets and that offensive rebounding that he was lacking. The 3-point shots weren't falling like they were in the first quarter. You could get back to what it was that you were doing to get you to win. Now, I know leaning on the guys who had gotten you there had cut the deficit from 27 or whatever it was to like 10 was a good thing, because you want to give trust to the people that got you that far. But you need your superstars, and you need that rebounding dynamic to bring you home, because that's what ultimately was unguardable for the Dallas Mavericks. It was their unique efficiency from behind the arc that made it so that you needed to remove Kevon. Once that circumstance disappeared, it's time to get Kevon back in there. The game has changed. Now the score is different, and now what you need is the same stuff that you needed that got you those 3 wins in the first place. So I just thought the in-game adjustment, the recognition that there was an adjustment to be made. I think Steve Kerr was just off his game tonight, and rightfully so, man. You can see how affected he was by what took place in this world today. So, given the fact that it was like um, as it was, given the fact that the day was as it was, you can just understand where maybe he wasn't on 100% tonight, wasn't on his game. So that's how I took it. I took it as Steve Kerr just kind of was a little distant tonight in terms of coaching this basketball club. But, all in all, I thought the Dallas Mavericks are to be credited. They played defense. They won the rebounding edge. They shot the basketball. And they attacked. They did everything they needed to do to defend home court. And that's all you wanted to see them do in Game 3. You figured Golden State's a fantastic ball club. They're going to win their games at home. They're going to take care of home court. Dallas need to do the same thing. And they waited until Game 4 to do so. That's literally what we've seen here. Now, the format of the playoffs will make it look like it's the end of the world. But the reality is that's all it takes to lose. Drop a couple games at home and then don't take care of your first home court game. And then you look up and you're fighting for your playoff life with absolutely no chance of winning the series. I mean, it's just so important to win one of those first 3 games. You know what I mean? And equally the same, it's important to close teams out. And I think the Golden State Warriors dropped that opportunity tonight. Playing extra games. I mean, you're already seeing injuries start to pile up. Klay Thompson struggling. Steph Curry was grabbing his hip earlier in the game. You're already down GP2. You know what I'm saying? The injuries are going to occur, but you can limit the chances of them taking place by limiting your basketball. Simple as that. The less ball you play, the less likely you get hurt. And these guys are playing more basketball. And it's going to bite them. I don't know in what way, but it's going to bite the Golden State Warriors. You play with your food long enough, and it's going to go wrong for you. So that's what's going on. There's a Game 5 coming up back in Golden State. Dallas Mavericks have momentum now. They got a little confidence. They feel good about shooting the basketball. Reggie Bullock's back in action. Spencer Dinwiddie has now had, 3 straight good games. You just saw a lot to feel good about. Dorian Finney-Smith was shooting the ball excellent. Jalen Brunson has been consistent throughout this entire series. And as I told you guys, I don't think the Golden State Warriors really have an answer for Jalen Brunson. The more he attacks, the more successful I think he can be, because they don't have anything. With the exception of Andrew Wiggins, they don't really have anyone down there who has the foot speed to keep up with him as he cuts into the lane and continues to do all the stuff that he does. Particularly in the paint when he picks up his dribble, as illustrated by one of the people who were, commentating on the game. As soon as he picks his dribble up, once he starts doing his jab steps in the paint and all that, this dude got some special footwork and special ability that's just going to make it so that he draws either fouls or scores or both. So you have to treat him like he's Tony Parker on the inside. That's why I say he's like a new age Tony Parker in the sense that even though he's a little guard, he's going to score on the inside as he continues to develop. He's going to score on the inside like a center. And so you have to be able to guard that area when he gets in there with the intent of knowing that he's going to do all kinds of pump fakes and stuff. So with that being said, I think he needs to continue an attack, whether he's Dallas or San Francisco. His game needs to continue to be just the same. And the fact that the 3 ball is falling for him is a very, very good sign. Something else that needs to be said, the Golden State Warriors didn't have anyone who scored over 20 points tonight. Steph Curry was the high man with 20. That's not going to cut it, obviously. I don't think we need to talk about how the others have not shown up on the road in these playoffs, because I've said it at least once every night. It's just something that we've seen across the board from every team, and tonight it was the Golden State Warriors' night to disappear. And granted, it wasn't really the others that didn't show up. To be honest with you, it was vice versa. It was actually the starters, because the others came in and brought the game back, played excellent down the stretch, as we've already talked about, and you got to give them the credit. That's who I want to give credit to in regards to the Golden State Warriors. Even though they lost the game, them cutting that lead from 27 to 10 was remarkable. I thought that Dallas was leaving the door open for them. It got a little nervous time down there. I thought Dallas, kind of did what they needed to do. They put Luka back on the floor and they closed the game out. But going into Game 5, Golden State should feel pretty good, having cut into that lead, knowing that it took 23-point shots in the Dallas Mavericks shooting over 50% in order for them to win this basketball game by 9 points. You know what I mean? So if that's what it takes to win, if they can do that 4 times, good luck. I don't see it happening. But nevertheless, when the Golden State Warriors play extra basketball, they find themselves in a situation where if you remove one player here, one player there, suddenly those games get a lot easier for the Dallas Mavericks to play in. You know what I mean? That's the problem. Steph Curry's hip, is that going to linger? Is he going to have to miss a game or two at some point because of that? How does that affect what Dallas is able to do? You know what I mean? So these are the type of things that you don't want to even have to consider if you're going for the Warriors. But because these guys don't be closing people out properly, because they like doing things differently when it's time to close the deal, they find themselves on the other end of these games. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's gonna always be my motto. The Dallas Mavericks have yet to prove that they can keep Kevon Looney off the offensive glass. Simple as that. And that is not a problem related to y'all shooting the 3-point, defending the 3-point shot. Do you see what I'm saying? Even though they're shooting threes over Kevon's head in that flurry in the first half, that does not mean that they're going to be able to keep him off the glass as this game progresses. They got to prove they can keep shooting like that. That's what I'm saying to you. I'm not removing the trump card from this series just because they hit a couple threes in a game where they had their back against the wall at home. I'm not doing that. They got to prove to me that they can stop this dude. When them threes stop falling, guess what he's going to be doing? Board, easy bucket, pass to the open corner, 3-point shots. Those shots start falling for you. And you saw them close the gap with Jonathan Kuminga. You know what I mean? They were closing the gap. All they had to do was just put that man back on the floor and let him continue doing what he does. And this series probably ends. Especially the way he's been defending Doncic. Some of them drives that Doncic was having, stuff like that, it probably wouldn't have went the same way. You know what I mean? But here we are. Another game to talk about in this series. I'm not upset about it. I'm happy we got more basketball, because this season is winding down, and we've been spoiled with a lot of basketball on back-to-back nights. So if this game would have went the Warriors' way, we would have had some nights where ain't no basketball headed up going forward, and we're not looking forward to that on this channel at all. So, now, if we're going to look at what the Dallas Mavericks need to continue doing, it's definitely shooting the ball. They need to continue to get things out of Dorian, Kleba. Once again, we saw some good things out of Davis Bertans. I thought he was really good tonight in the minutes that I saw him play, doing other things than shooting the ball, which has been said that he can't do or whatever, but we've seen him do some good things in these series. And, I think they should lean on him a bit more. So it's just a lot of stuff about the Dallas Mavericks. You say, wow, man, all they really need is a big and maybe one more player that can help them with their scoring in situations where things are running flat, maybe one more shooter. Other than that, the Dallas Mavericks do have star power. They got role players that can help them and things of that nature. They're not that far away from being a very, very, very competitive contender. But right now, they're just fighting for their playoff lives, with limited stuff. And it's going to be a very short margin of error for them to continue to stay alive. They got to hit them threes. They got to keep the Golden State Warriors off the boards. And I don't know which game it's going to be. If let's say they win Game 5, will it be Game 6? I don't know. But eventually Golden State's going to just get back to what they're doing, which is rebounding the ball. And if that happens, Dallas still has to figure out a way to stop them from doing so. It's as simple as that. So, I don't know. Nobody's writing the Warriors off, that's for sure. They're still up 3-1, but my concerns about them and not being able to close teams out or not coming to play when it's time to close teams out is real. that killing instinct that is supposed to be there, it's missing. And I think it's going to bite them in the backside. I'm telling you. I don't know if it, especially depending on if what happens in the Eastern Conference and which matchup they get. If they get the wrong matchup in the Eastern Conference, they're going to be the team that loses. I'm telling you. Because you cannot make these type of mistakes against those teams. I do not believe that. They're too good defensively. They rebound the ball too well, particularly Boston. Golden State better come to play, and they had better stop playing extra basketball. So that's pretty much what I got, man. Not too much to say about this game. Luka Doncic had 30 points, 14 boards, which is something I must point out because I've been asking him to get 15, and I'm always happy when you get one shy of what I'm asking for. The point is he needs to continue to crash the dang glass. And another thing that I really liked about Luka tonight is that they pushed the dang pace early in this game. Very, very good. You want to see them pick it up a little bit. Don't be so predictable with the slow it down offense. It's easy to strike fast when you got a player as big and as talented as Luka Doncic. He does not have to play slow. And I can argue this. If he were to play faster, he'll be in better shape. He'll be faster on the defensive end. And ultimately his conditioning will just get better. Because you'll have him playing at a better pace. This is a good thing for him. So, he's 23 years old, man. There's no sense in having him playing like he's 40. He'll have plenty of time to play as slow as he does right now. Pick up the pace. So, I like that they did that tonight. What else? And Dwight Powell. Keep him in this series, man. You're going up against a traditional big. Okay? Kevon Looney's a traditional big. Even though he can shoot the three. He actually can hit it. He ain't out there shooting it. He's in the paint. You need a guy like Dwight Powell to at least put a body on him, box him out, make him feel something. Kleber ain't going to do it. He's too small. Dorian Finney-Smith, he's all over the place defensively. He can't just focus on one thing. He has to roam. So it's like they need somebody to put on him. And I think reacting to the three-point shooting is just not the way to go for the Dallas Mavericks. Because Golden State, believe it or not, doesn't really shoot it that much. It's a secret, but they really don't. They don't attempt it all that crazy, so you don't have to react to it so much, because really what they're doing is attacking you in the paint when they're winning. It's when they get away from the paint, like they did tonight, when things start going wrong for them. So you gotta play the Golden State Warriors like they're a balanced team, not like they're a team that's just gonna be raining threes all night. That's not necessarily how they attack you in these playoffs. And you saw the Dallas Mavericks attack them properly tonight by addressing the rebounding, by addressing everything they needed to in regards to scoring the basketball, particularly from behind the arc. And you saw it work out. Meanwhile, Golden State's perimeter defense was trash tonight. We got to say it. If the Golden State Warriors giving up 23-point shots, or rather allowing 23-point makes from behind the arc, clearly there's something wrong there with their perimeter defense. So I felt like they tried to address it in that second half. I'm sure they did, which is why they were able to close the gap with that second unit. But that needs to carry forward. Dallas definitely can still shoot the three. This can continue. Just like they were horrible from behind the arc, they could very well get hot for a couple games in a row. And that could be a problem for the Golden State Warriors if they let that happen. So understand this. Luka Doncic didn't shoot that well tonight. He really didn't, especially in the first half. And so for him to have had a night where his others played well and he didn't shoot well, that's really encouraging. Now, I don't know if it's going to translate to more wins in the series, but what I can tell you is this is about as bad as he's probably going to shoot for the rest of the time he's going to play. So that's a very interesting way of looking at things, I think. Spencer Dinwiddie, man, credit to you, man. Keep playing well. I like what I saw from everybody from Dallas, of course, today for the most part. More of the same is going to be necessary. Even Frank Ntilikina came in and hit a three. That's a big deal. You need everybody contributing for that team. And, if you look at the Golden State Warriors, they actually got their shooting percentage up to par. After that first half, they were horrible shooting the ball. But in the second half, if you look at everybody's total shooting percentages, they all kind of got it around to a respectable space. So the story isn't really told based on that comeback. It was a blowout for most of the game. And the Golden State Warriors closed it to about 9, but the Dallas Mavericks ultimately fended it off So that's what it was, man. That's what it was. I thought Steve Kerr could have did a little more, just a little more to try to close that gap and win this game. And I think he's gonna regret not. I really do. So we'll see how it goes, man. BDF 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.